I received a call from a friend. He invited me to attend a seminar about the country's economic and political situation. I didn't really want to go, having attended so many seminars before that offered nothing new. I hung up the phone and started preparing myself to go. I hesitated, but finally decided to go. I left the house without any desire to attend that seminar, which I used to be the first to arrive at. I walked there since it was close to my house. While walking, I met a 10-year-old girl selling flowers. She said, "Would you like a flower?" I replied, "There is no flower here more beautiful than you." She gave me an innocent smile, a smile that gave me a bit of the positive energy I had long forgotten. There was a time in my life when a single smile from someone could make me happy for days. I took a flower from the girl and gave her an amount of money that would make her go home happy, even though it was all I had left. She said, "Thank you, Uncle," with a beautiful smile. I said to her, "Take care of yourself, Miriam," a name I gave her, though she hadn't been lucky enough to live up to it. As I walked away, I thought to myself, if I had married 10 years ago, would my daughter be the same age as her? Could Miriam have been my daughter, but with a father unable to provide even the basics of life? Truth be told, I was no longer the same person I was 10 years ago. Everyone who knows me says that. I arrived at the seminar just as it was ending. My friend Mohammed said, "Why are you late?" We discussed and proposed solutions to the current economic crisis. I laughed and said, "What about the solutions we proposed years ago?" He fell silent, then said, "Your life stopped 10 years ago. Why haven't you moved past that day yet?" I replied, "I missed the train of life." We left together and had a cup of coffee, talking about the same things we always talk about. On my way back home, memories took me back 10 years to when I used to walk in this very place with my fiancée, Sarah. I don't know why I remember every little detail she loved. Places her love for the sea and flowers, her love for French perfumes and Arabic songs. She doesn't know I still listen to the songs she loved. She doesn't know I learned all the French perfume brands just to talk to her about what she liked. She doesn't know I learned all kinds of flowers to give her a different one each day. She doesn't know I still remember the words that brought my life to a halt 10 years ago. I woke up early. Today was the submission of my graduation project from the Faculty of Economics and Political Science. I felt extremely anxious, not because of the project, but because I had decided to finally confess my love to Sarah, my classmate at the university. She was also my neighbor since childhood. We grew up together, studied together, and I had always seen her as my future wife and the mother of my children. She embodied every quality I had ever dreamed of. Since she moved to the neighborhood at the age of 9, she had always occupied my thoughts. I wouldn't eat unless I saw her, couldn't study unless she was with me, and wouldn't go to school until I saw her first. She was beautiful, elegant, radiant. Dozens of men proposed to her, but she always declined, saying she wanted to focus on her studies. Today was her last day at university. It was my chance. She knew I loved her, I adored her, but I didn't know how she felt about me. I approached her, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst from my chest. I congratulated her on finishing the project, then said, "Maybe the timing isn't ideal, but I know if I miss this chance, you'll be married in a matter of days. So many are waiting for this moment." She replied, "And how could my heart ever accept someone other than you?" My heart and mind stopped at that moment. I quickly added, "If my heart isn't for you, then it's for no one else." We got engaged within a week, and the wedding was set for 3 months later. I waited for those 3 months the way a child waits for his mother to return from a long trip. Marrying her was a dream I'd had since the first time I saw her. I could never imagine myself with anyone else. Suddenly, I noticed it was 2 a.m. It had been 3 hours since I left my friend, and I was still lost in my thoughts. I don't know why being in this place always brings back the same memories in such vivid detail. Why can't I go a day without coming here? Have I become a prisoner of those memories? For 10 years now, I've come here daily to remember her, to remember the one who took my soul and left a body without it. I went home. If it weren't for my mother who waits for me and doesn't sleep until I'm back, I wouldn't have gone. She's always asking me to get married and start my life, but I keep making excuses, saying I haven't found the right one yet. She prayed for me and went to sleep. I started thinking about myself. I'm 35 years old and still unmarried. I don't have a job. I can't keep a job for more than 3 months. My friend Muhammad helped me get a position at a company, but I'm hesitant to go. It would be the third job he helped me get, and each time I left without a valid excuse, embarrassing him. I don't want to put him in that situation again. After much insistence from my mother, I decided to go. On my way back from work, I saw the flower seller, Miriam. I went to her and bought some flowers. I asked her, "Where are your parents?" She said, "My father is old. He used to sell flowers here years ago, but he can't work anymore. So I left school to feed him and myself." Her reality saddened me deeply. What kind of world are we living in? I asked her, "Where's your father?" She pointed to an old, fragile house that looked like it would collapse from the wind. I went to him and, after greeting him, asked, "What do you need to send Miriam back to school and let her live like any other child?" He raised his head and said, "I need a small amount of money for me and my daughter and some medication. I'd be so happy to see her return to school." The amount he asked for was very small, but what shocked me most was recognizing Uncle Hussein, the famous flower seller who used to sell to all the lovers. I was one of his best customers. He once told me, "What you bought in 3 months, I hadn't sold in years." I left his house with tears in my eyes. I sat at a cafe and remembered the night I had arranged with Uncle Hussein to send me a bouquet for my wedding. I asked him to include all the flowers Sarah loved. She loved more than 50 types. He said, "I don't have that many," and I told him, "Just do what you can, and I'll pay whatever it takes." I wasn't wealthy at the time, but I wanted to make her as happy as possible. The emotions and feelings we shared during those 3 months were enough to teach me that love can turn your life into paradise. In the past, just seeing her from afar would make my entire day. But now, if I don't see her, smell her scent, or hear her voice, I can't go on. I become like an addict who hasn't gotten his dose of love, lost, confused, and unaware that he's just a body without a soul. I went home early. I had a job now and responsibilities, Uncle Hussein and Miriam. I had to stay committed so Miriam wouldn't go back to selling flowers on the streets. I started visiting them often to check on them. My visits became part of my weekly routine, sometimes even daily. One day, Uncle Hussein jokingly asked, "Where's your wife who loved flowers more than you did? How many kids do you have now?" I stayed silent for a moment and said, "I didn't marry her." He was shocked. "Why? What happened?" he asked. He never imagined seeing me without her. I said, "Fate had other plans." He asked, "But how?" I left, remembering the last time I saw her, when she said, "You buried my heart. You don't know that I buried my love with my own hands." She didn't know that she buried me too, left me as a body without a soul. But not everything a lover desires is meant to be. A week before the wedding, I received a call from Sarah's mother saying the wedding would be postponed due to some arrangements. I told her I had prepared everything and invited all my relatives. She insisted she couldn't give more details, only that the wedding was delayed. I went to their house, but her mother refused to let me see Sarah and repeated the same. Some arrangements, and the wedding would be postponed. I told her I had prepared everything and invited all my relatives. She insisted she couldn't give more details, only that the wedding was delayed. I began to wonder, what happened? I needed to see Sarah. Maybe she had a logical explanation. I tried everything, but I couldn't reach her. Even my mother went to their home, but it was useless. A week passed, then two, then a month. My mother eventually told me they had moved out, but she never saw Sarah again. My life stopped on the day her mother told me about the delay. But deep down, I knew it wasn't a delay, it was a cancellation. 6 months passed, and I don't even know how. I was certain I would see her again, today, tomorrow, next year, but 10 years from now. I didn't know when, but I was waiting for that day. My mother woke me up one morning, saying, "Sarah has married her cousin." The news struck me like lightning. My heart stopped beating. I knew she had many cousins who wanted to marry her, but she had told me her parents had agreed to our marriage. My mother said Sarah had been in the hospital for more than 3 months before marrying her cousin, and that she was coming to see me in the morning. I told my mother, what does she want from me? She's married now. How can I face her? Look into her eyes? She left me for someone else. I couldn't sleep. I stayed up all night thinking, should I see her or not? She came in the morning, but I wasn't there. I had left. I couldn't bear to see her. That was the only decision I ever made with my mind, not my heart, since I met her. But I wish I had followed my heart. I returned home in the afternoon to hear what she had said. My mother was very sad and crying. I asked what happened. She said Sarah was here. She wanted to see you, to ask for your forgiveness. I said, I forgave her, but who will release my heart? My mother said Sarah had been forced to marry her cousin ever since she graduated. She resisted, but her mother told her she wouldn't forgive her unless she did. The day the wedding was canceled, Sarah fell into a coma. Her heart stopped working. She didn't die, but her heart refused to function, as if it said, if this heart isn't for him, it won't be for anyone. It stopped beating from the moment she realized we wouldn't marry. Luckily, someone donated a heart. The operation succeeded. Sarah lived, but with someone else's heart. Sarah came to our house in a wheelchair, hoping to see me, but I wasn't there. Then my mother told me, you must move on. Sarah is not your fate. I said, she's not my fate, but she's in my heart. She stopped her own heart so it wouldn't love anyone else. I want to see her just once. I rushed to her old house, stood in front of it, and spoke as if she were standing there. I said, forgive me, Sarah. I forgave you.